And welcome to this week's edition of the Life and Legacy Show, sponsored by the Sechler Law Firm, where great families make great estate plans. My name is Tim Sechler. I am a certified elder law attorney, and I do this show each and every week here on the radio as a podcast and as a YouTube channel to give you the information I think you need to know to make an effective plan for your family. Listen, this stuff is confusing. Planning for long-term care, planning for who you're going to leave your stuff. Do we want to use a will or a trust? Should we avoid probate? Do I want to protect assets from taxes, from nursing home expenses? How do we accomplish all this stuff? It's so darn confusing. And the fact of the matter is, it is confusing. And so I do this stuff all day, day in, day out for the last 12 years. And I can tell you, it is confusing to most people. So if you're overwhelmed by this, you're not alone. But what you can't do is freeze, because whether you like it or not, we got to deal with these issues, or else you're going to leave your family in a bad situation should something ever happen to you. And so this show is designed to give you some of the information you need to get started. I hope to give you some information that may move you toward making some decisions with regard to your estate plan, rather than just sort of hiding with your head in the sand on this stuff. And today I want to talk to you about a couple of different things I think you need to know. We're calling this episode The 3 Secrets You Need to Know to Protect Your Savings. And I'm going to start by just telling you, in my hands, I am holding one of our clients' bills at a nursing home. And I just want to spend some time telling you what is on this thing. So I'm not sure if you're aware how darn expensive receiving long-term care is, but this is the issue that we need to be concerned about when planning for retirees. You know, when I'm sitting across the table from a prospective new client and we're discussing their life and we're discussing their money and we're discussing their kids and their goals and what keeps them up at night, sort of the question that's always in the back of my mind is, you know, what gets in their way? This family has worked hard, they've saved some money, they have raised kids perhaps, or whatever the case is, and they're moving into retirement years. And what is it that is going to get in their way? What are the issues? What are the financial issues? What are the legal issues that could get in their way from having the successful retirement that they've been thinking about for decades? And usually it comes down to what happens if one of them gets sick, right? So let's take another look at this nursing home bill. So this nursing home is here in Western Pennsylvania. Not going to name names, obviously not going to tell you the name of my client, but the bill starts carrying forward a balance from the prior month of $10,400. Okay, so imagine you're opening your mail and you open up a bill and you still owe $10,000 to someone just for last month's services. And then the next line item is this month's services, which the total on this bill is $13,330. So close your mind a second and imagine getting a bill in the mail that only covers 60 days. And the total on the bill says $23,755. And then there's some more line items here. So they're charging for something called a Dolphin mattress, which is $1,050 a month. There's a $500 line item for the pharmacy. There's another $265 for what looks like durable medical equipment. There's another line item for something called coinsurance, which is $1,700, and another $500 line item for the pharmacy. So all told, the grand total at the bottom of this bill, and this is a real bill from a real client, the total at the bottom of the bill that only covers 60 days is $27,741. $27,741. And that only covers 60 days. Okay. So imagine you've got this bill in your hand for your spouse or for yourself, and you're looking at it, 27 grand. And you know that there's another 13 to 17 grand coming next month. And there's another 17 grand coming the following month. And there's another 17 grand coming the following month. And I want you to visualize and just imagine how you would feel looking at that bill. You know, most of us get a lump in our throat when we see a $400 car payment, a $400 whatever payment, a $200 cable bill. Imagine the bill says $27,741. Then ask yourself, after you catch your breath, from which account am I going to pay this bill? Most of us don't carry that kind of money in our checking account. So are we going to pay it from a retirement account? So now we're pulling it out of an IRA or a 401k. We have to pay income taxes on the money just to get the money. So the $17,000 bill is really a $22,000 bill because we're going to have income taxes withheld. Maybe you have a life insurance cash value. Maybe you have an investment account. But imagine if you had a $27,000 bill in your hands and you knew it was going to be another $13,000 to $17,000 next month. Where are you going to get the money? From which account? And how long would that account last until we need to go to the next account and then the next account? And how long until you're just simply out of accounts and you're out of money and now you're broke? And once you're broke, now you can apply for Medicaid benefits to pay for care. Okay. That is how this goes for families who don't plan ahead for skilled nursing costs. That's how it goes. Okay. Now, here at the Sechler Law Firm, I implore you to consider that maybe you want to think about planning ahead for this, because 1 in 3 seniors is going to end up with dementia. 2/3 of us are going to need some form of long-term care. And the average cost of a nursing home in Pennsylvania is $180,000 a year. So when you add all that up, and I'm not trying to just be terrifying here on a Saturday morning, but how are you going to pay for it? What's your plan? How long would your spouse be able to maintain the appropriate level of retirement lifestyle that you guys have planned for if you're getting a $17,000 bill every month? Now, here's where we're going to get to. I want to tell you 3 things that you may want to think about that may help your family avoid this situation. And we talk in more detail about this stuff at our live workshops that we do all the time here in our office and around Pittsburgh. We have live estate planning, elder law workshops where we teach you these things. You can find out more about them at sechlerlawfirm.com, SECHLER lawfirm.com. And then you go to the resources page and you can find the workshops. We have free downloadable guides. So I've got a free downloadable guide on estate planning, on post-death administration, on how to become eligible for Medicaid benefits to pay for the nursing home. So there's a ton of free resources. I think last count, we're pushing 100 articles on this information on our website. So go to sechlerlawfirm.com, SECHLER lawfirm.com. Cruise the resources and schedule yourself for one of our upcoming workshops. And you should get on it because these things almost always fill up. And if you want to get a seat, you need to register. Okay. So here's secret number 1. I told you, we're going to tell you 3 different secrets on how you can prepare yourself, your family to not go broke due to long-term care costs. And the first is that we need to utilize government benefits. There's no one else that's going to help you with this. We have to look at the government for help. Most people have not purchased long-term care insurance. And I can tell you your insurance plan, Medicare, if you're over 65, is not going to pay for your nursing home. This is the biggest misunderstanding that seniors face. They think, well, I'm over 65, I've got Medicare coverage, so if I go to a nursing home, they're going to cover it. And the answer is, no, they're not. Medicare does not pay for custodial long-term care in a nursing home. Medicare may pay for a rehab stay in a nursing home if you're only in there a couple of weeks, but Medicare does not pay for an extended year, 2-year, 3-year stay in a nursing home. They just simply don't pay for it. This is the biggest problem. If the people in Washington really wanted to fix this huge issue that we have for our seniors, they would simply have Medicare pay for long-term care benefits, but they're not. They haven't done it. They're not going to do it. It's not even on the agenda. So don't wait for the clowns in Congress to fix this problem. Okay. The second thing so let's talk about what programs could help. So Medicare's out. The Veterans Administration, well, they could help if you happen to be a veteran. I don't want to take a deep dive on this because it's a relatively short show and we don't have a a ton of time. But if you happen to be a wartime veteran, which means 90 days of active duty, 1 day of which occurred during a war, and you didn't have to be in the war, you just had to be on active duty during the wartime, you may be eligible for some veterans benefits that can help you pay for long-term care. When this works well, it's great, but it hardly ever works well because the application process, I've been involved in cases where the application process alone can take a year. And so very often it's just an untenable situation for a lot of veterans. But if it works out, you should apply for these benefits if you think you're eligible for the benefits, and they can help you pay for care. But most veterans and for the rest of us, we need to understand a thing or two about Medicaid and how Medicaid can pay for the nursing home. Now, understand a couple of things. There's two types of Medicaid. There's Medicaid, traditional Medicaid coverage, which is for indigent folks who don't have a lot of income, don't have a lot of savings, may have a disability, and need health care. Generally, younger folks or seniors, but need general health care. Medicaid often fits that bill. Okay, but that's not what we're talking about this morning. What we're talking about is Medicaid long-term care benefits. Medicaid long-term care benefits is a different program. Some of the eligibility rules are the same, but Medicaid long-term care is what will pay for the nursing home. Now, here's the thing about Medicaid. If you don't plan ahead, the rule book requires you to go broke before they pay for your care. And sometimes that can't be true. They're not going to make me go broke. Well, okay, here's how the rules work. Keep in mind that Medicaid treats single people differently than they treat married people, and Medicaid treats assets differently than they treat income. Right? So if a single person, a widow or widower, or just a single person goes into a nursing home, all of their available money needs to be spent on care, which means the only thing they're allowed to keep is their house, one car, and a prepaid funeral arrangement, and up to $8,000. Everything else has to go. Your retirement account is going to be liquidated at the rate of $180,000 a month until you're broke. Your cash value of your life insurance has got to go. If you have a second piece of real estate, it needs to be sold. The sales proceeds will then be used to pay the nursing home. If you've got your grandpa's hunting camp, if you have a second vehicle, if you've got, we could go on and on. You're not allowed to own those things and be on Medicaid. You're going to go through your entire savings, then you're asset eligible for Medicaid. Fine, now Medicaid's paying the bill, except here's a problem. Medicaid still requires you to pay your monthly income to the nursing home. They only allow you to keep $45 a month. So now I've got $45 a month for all of my personal needs, which doesn't, buy a Coca-Cola a day anymore. So I've got no money. But if they allow me to keep this house and this car, well, wait a second. I'm out of money. And I don't have any income because it's going to the nursing home. So how in the heck am I going to pay the property taxes this year on this house I'm allowed to keep? Who's paying the homeowner's insurance on this house I'm allowed to keep? Who's mowing the grass? Who's insuring this car I'm allowed to have? Who's driving the car? I'm in a nursing home. I don't need a car, right? And so all of that stuff, what ends up happening is the kids, who are usually the power of attorney in this situation, will want to sell dad's car and dad's house. But if we sell dad's house, we just convert it into cash, which you're not allowed to own, right? So there's this common thing out there that says, there's this common thought process out there that says, like, the nursing home is going to take your house. Well, no, the nursing home is not going to take your house, okay? The nursing home really isn't the problem. The problem is the government rule book. The government rule book says, if you just want to read the text, it says you get to keep your house. But if you read in between the text, we don't allow you to keep enough money to keep it, so you have to sell it, turn it into cash. Oh, and by the way, you're not allowed to have cash, right? So that's how it works. The nursing home doesn't send guys around with baseball bats taking your house from you. It's that the financial eligibility rules for Medicaid's program don't allow you to keep the house. And if you manage to keep the house, when you pass away, if it's in your estate, they take it at that point. And so single people in a nursing home will go broke. And that's just the way it works. So now that you know the way it works, what are you going to do about it? And I do want to add that it does work a little differently for married people. So if dad goes into the nursing home, mom is out in the community, mom's allowed to keep the house, and she's allowed to keep half of the money. but the half of the money is capped at a little over $130,000 a year. Well, no, not a year. I'm sorry, $130,000 in total. So if they're taking some of our income and they took all of our money, and I'm only allowed half of our entire life savings up to a maximum of $130,000. So a family that has $200,000 in their savings, she gets to keep 100. A family that has $600,000 in their savings, she gets to keep 130. Right? The rest of it goes toward care. And that's the way it works. That's like a very quick overview of the high-level Medicaid eligibility rules. And most people don't understand how this works, but you need to. When people turn 65, they go out and they learn all about Medicare, right? A year before you turn 65, you start getting the stuff in the mail from the insurance companies wanting to sell you Medicare plans. And people go to seminars and they get all kind of educated about Medicare because I got to make an election on my 65th birthday. Great. You got to learn that stuff. But nobody takes the time to go out and learn about Medicaid. And Medicaid is the thing that can help you save your house. And it's got these harsh eligibility rules, and nobody understands like the detail of what I just told you. But what people do understand is, generally speaking, you kind of have to be broke to go eligible for a nursing home. And so here's the thing. Secret number one was you need to utilize the government programs. The rules are difficult, but they're not impossible. Secret number two is that trusts are your friend, right? So there was a time when, one of the most common questions that we get is, should I use a will or a trust? And there was a time when trusts were only used by the rich and famous. We have a trust fund. You have to have like a glass of something expensive in your hand and a pipe and a red robe to need a trust, right? But that's not the way it works anymore. In our office, lots of our middle class, upper middle class families are using trusts. And we're not using it for the same reason that the rich guys are using it. And rich people, if you happen to be a rich people, I think that's fantastic. You should consider trust too, but perhaps for other purposes. But for our middle class clients, upper middle class clients, we're using trust to protect assets, to protect your home, to protect your savings from the potential threat of long-term care expenses, because that is the issue, folks. $180,000 a year on your 70th birthday when your wife is only 68, and we're going to go through $17,000 a month on this nursing home. That's going to disrupt your retirement. And so by holding some assets in a trust, we can protect some assets from this potential issue. And if you want to learn more about that, join us at one of our upcoming seminars where I teach all this stuff in greater detail. And you learn all about how the thing really works and whether it's right for you. You can find out all about this at SechlerLawFirm.com. It's SECHLER lawfirm.com. And you can register right on the website for one of our workshops or cruise the articles or the videos that I have on the website. There's a ton of helpful information there, and you should take some time to become educated. If you want to give us a call, the phone number is 724-546-4227. Again, 724-546-4227. Our main office is right here in Cranberry Township. I can throw a football and hit the interstate, so we're super easy to find. And here to help. So give us a call, 724-546-4227, or go to SechlerLawFirm.com, SECHLER lawfirm.com, and register for one of our upcoming workshops. Okay. So secret number one is you need to utilize government benefits. Secret number two is trusts are your friend and they can help you protect assets. Secret number three is if you're already in a family where someone needs long-term care. I do this show on Saturday mornings, and I always have this vision in my head that somebody's listening to this show on the way to visit their spouse in a nursing home. And if that happens to be you, if there's one person in the city of Pittsburgh that is doing this right now, I'm speaking directly to you. If you're getting a bill that looks like this one that I have in my hand here, and you're getting a bill of $17,000 a month, you need to take action. So many people freeze in this situation. They're embarrassed by the fact that, my spouse had to go to a nursing home. I couldn't take care of my spouse. They're embarrassed by the fact that they're going through their money. They don't know who to tell. The whole process is confusing. They don't know whether the nursing home is their friend or their enemy. They don't know whether the state of Pennsylvania and the Medicaid office is their friend or their enemy. And they're just confused, and confused people just tend to like lock down. And what I'm going to encourage you to do is reach out, because this is a situation where we can really, really help. It is not uncommon for us to protect 80-90% of a married family's assets, even after someone is in a nursing home. Can't guarantee those kind of figures, but it's not uncommon. For single people, it's a little bit less, but it's still a big number. And if you're in this situation with a loved one in a nursing home, skilled nursing in particular, and you're going through this kind of money, or your Medicare days are about to end, because remember, Medicare will pay for a couple of weeks. If your Medicare days are about to end and we're going to transition into being a private pay person pretty soon, you need to reach out. We can help you. The phone number is 724-546-4227. And it's too complicated to go through on the radio without a whiteboard and some PowerPoint presentations on the things that we would be able to do to help you protect your assets. And I'm afraid to even say them on the radio, because I'm afraid I'll say something on the radio and some family will assume that this potential planning strategy applies to their family, but it doesn't. And then they do something that I said on the radio, which was a mistake for them. It might be a great idea for another family with different facts, but then they go out and make some decision based on what they heard on a radio show, and then they cause themselves tens of thousands of dollars of headache. So we don't go into a deep dive on what the planning strategies are on the show, but I just want you to know that we offer free consultations. It doesn't cost you anything to come in and speak with us if you have a loved one in a nursing home. And if you're going through 17 grand a month or 10 grand a month or 9 grand a month, what do you have to lose? Call, see if we can help. Our goal is to figure out if we can help you. Our goal is to get you or your loved one the care you need without going broke in the process. I found this practice area after having watched my grandfather go through a bunch of his money in a nursing home, and nobody pointed him out to an elder law attorney so that they could protect some savings. And so I've built the Sechler law firm based solely on the idea that it is wrong, in my opinion, that the government rule book requires people to go broke because they have dementia. It is wrong, in my opinion, that people have to go broke because they're dealing with Parkinson's disease. Because if the health issue were acute, if my client wasn't dealing with what they're dealing with here, which happens to be dementia that got this $17,000 bill, if she were instead dealing with cancer, that would be equally tragic from a healthcare standpoint, the impact on the family. I'm not saying that would be good, but if she's over 65 and she has expensive medical bills, Medicare would pay that bill. So our healthcare system is picking winners and losers based on the healthcare event you will ultimately have, which is almost entirely outside of your control. And there's just something about that just doesn't seem American to me. It just doesn't seem to be the way that we should be treating people. And I've built a law firm helping you fight this broken system so that you can protect the savings you've worked hard for against this broken long-term care system. So that's kind of the idea. And if you want some help, if you listen to this and you're like, yes, this guy's speaking my language, or I'm in that situation and I know that now that what I'm up against, and there's some things that we could do to protect ourselves, then give us a call at 724-546-4227. If you happen to have a loved one in a nursing home, we're going to offer you a free consultation. If you want to learn more about how to protect yourself and the thing I was talking about earlier with using trusts to protect yourself, we're going to invite you to one of our upcoming workshops. You attend the workshop, you get a bunch of education, then we offer you a consultation. And it's a thing that we get great feedback on this workshop because it is designed to just provide you with a ton of information that you'll find helpful. So the 3 secrets that we talked about today: The first is you need to know how to utilize government benefits. And when we're talking about government benefits, I'm really speaking about Medicaid to pay for a nursing home. Secret number 2 is trusts are your friend when it comes to protecting assets from long-term care expenses. Trusts just aren't for the rich people, they're for us too. And secret number 3 is if you have a loved one in a nursing home, it is not too late. We can help you even after you've got somebody in a nursing home. You just need to reach out. Phone number 724-546-4227, or you can check us out at sechlerlawfirm.com. Please don't make any decisions, legal or financial, based on what you heard on this or any other radio show. This is for your education or information. If you want more information, sechlerlawfirm.com. Thanks for listening.